The Virgin Mary's final message from Medjugorje, a call to action and spiritual vigilance. Greetings to all our fellow Catholics. We are truly grateful for your continued support and are excited to have you back with us today. May you experience Christ's peace and grace as we journey through this message together. As always, we hope you will enjoy this video and consider subscribing to our channel so you never miss an update. Join us as we delve deep into a message that has touched millions across the world, a message that calls us to spiritual awakening, to preparedness, and to action. In recent times, many people have been drawn to the powerful messages coming from Medjugorje, a place of profound spiritual significance. These messages are not just words, but a divine warning, urging us to prepare physically and spiritually for an inevitable and world-changing event. It is not a message of fear, but rather a clarion call to understand the revolutionary times in which we are living. As the world faces turmoil, confusion, and natural disasters, the Virgin Mary's message resonates with clarity and urgency. She asks us to pray, reflect, and prepare our hearts for what lies ahead. Mary's last message in Medjugorje left millions in tears, especially Mirjana, one of the visionaries, who was deeply moved by the gravity of the message. The Virgin Mary reveals that a monumental event is approaching, an event that will alter the course of humanity. This change, which is both internal and external, will affect not only the world around us, but also each individual on a deeply personal level. It will have consequences that we cannot yet fully comprehend, but the signs are already manifesting. Natural calamities such as earthquakes, shifts in the land, and even the collapse of societies serve as early indicators of this monumental change. While these events may appear to be isolated incidents, they are intricately connected and point to a much larger transformation. Those who are paying close attention to the signs can sense that something momentous is on the horizon. While many people may dismiss these indicators, the spiritually awake know that we are on the verge of a significant shift in the world and in our lives. This change is not only external, but also deeply spiritual, calling each of us to examine our relationship with God. The Virgin Mary reminds us that we are walking a thin line between what is familiar and what is unknown, and that this boundary is becoming increasingly blurred. Our lives, once steady and predictable, are being transformed by forces beyond our control. This is not a message of despair, rather, it is a message of hope and preparation. Mary calls us to awaken, to open our eyes to the truth, and to recognize the gravity of the moment in which we find ourselves. We are standing at a crossroads in history, and our response must be one of vigilance and action. Central to Mary's message is the call to prayer. She emphasizes that prayer is the most powerful tool we have to communicate with God and protect ourselves from the evil forces that seek to destroy the world. Just as a loving mother watches over her children, Mary offers her protection and care during these difficult times. Prayer, she says, is not just a devotional practice, but a transformative power that can change the course of events. It serves as a shield for us and a way to stay connected to God in these troubled times. Mary's message calls us to unity through prayer. It is through prayer that we as a global community can stay connected to God and to each other. In a world that feels increasingly divided, prayer becomes the bridge that unites us, strengthens us, and shields us from the darkness that is creeping in. We need this spiritual fellowship now more than ever, as the forces of evil seem to grow stronger each day. But the message is clear: prayer alone is not enough. Memorizing prayers or reciting them without sincerity will not suffice. True faith demands action. Mary calls us to live by God's precepts, to translate our prayers into deeds. This is where true transformation happens, not just in our words, but in our lives. We are called to embody the teachings of Christ and live out our faith with authenticity, compassion, and righteousness. In the coming days, as the world continues to face spiritual and physical challenges, we must be ready. The Virgin Mary's message is a wake-up call for us to realign our lives with God's will, to prepare spiritually, and to take action in the face of adversity. It is not a time to be passive, but a time to be proactive in strengthening our faith and commitment to God. As the world shifts and the storms of life continue to rage, let us heed Mary's call. Let us pray with sincerity, live according to God's will, and unite with our brothers and sisters in faith. Together, we can weather the trials ahead, secure in the knowledge that God's protection and Mary's loving intercession will see us through. Thank you for being with us today. Your participation in this journey of faith is invaluable. May this message inspire and challenge you to take action, to pray deeply, and to prepare spiritually for the coming changes. Let us remain vigilant, steadfast, and hopeful as we await the miraculous protection and guidance of God and our blessed Mother. Until next time, may peace and grace be with you all. True prayer is the foundation of our lives, directing every thought, action, and movement with a divine purpose. In these turbulent times, ignoring God's commands can lead to catastrophic outcomes. The Virgin Mary calls on us to live according to God's will, emphasizing that mere words or deceitful actions will not help us withstand the trials ahead. To be prepared, we must live authentically, infusing spiritual values into every area of our lives. One of the central prophecies from Medjugorje is the warning of 3 days of darkness. This isn't just a metaphor, it is a profound physical and spiritual darkness that will envelop the world. According to the Virgin Mary, during this period, the world's lights, electricity, technology, even human understanding, will vanish, leaving everything in silence and desolation. This dark period will test the very core of our faith and resolve. There will be no rational explanation for what is happening, but it will require an unwavering spiritual strength to endure. For those whose faith is not firmly established, the darkness will be overwhelming, while even the devout will face profound trials. However, during these 3 days, a spiritual cleansing will take place. It will be a time to confront our deepest truths, stripping away all distractions. The only source of guidance and comfort will be our personal connection with God and the light of faith, not any external things or false facades. The Virgin Mary urges us to prepare now, to establish a relationship with God that will guide us through these dark times. Only those who have cultivated a strong spiritual life through prayer and devotion will have the strength to endure. The darkness represents a purification that can only be survived with deep faith. Alongside spiritual readiness, the Virgin Mary also offers practical advice. In a time when modern conveniences may fail, we are encouraged to prepare material necessities, food, matches, candles, and to be ready for the challenges ahead. This guidance is not meant to incite fear, but rather to inspire practical and intelligent preparedness. Having these basic supplies will provide comfort in the event of a collapse of the systems we rely on. The Virgin's message is urgent. She emphasizes that the time to prepare is now, as the signs in society and the environment suggest that these events may not be far off. We must be aware of the signs and act swiftly, both spiritually and physically, to safeguard ourselves. Another critical aspect of this message is the need for global solidarity. Despite the rising divisions in the world caused by conflict, injustice, and a lack of unity, the Virgin Mary reminds us that we are all part of the same human family, united by our belief in God. This unity must be reflected in our daily actions. We must transcend divisions and come together in a spirit of cooperation and love, supporting one another as we face these unprecedented challenges. In conclusion, the Virgin Mary's message calls for both spiritual and practical preparation. We must strengthen our faith through prayer, heed her warnings, and take action while we still have the opportunity. Let us unite as one family, preparing for the times ahead with hearts full of faith, compassion, and hope. The concept of relationships extends far beyond being a mere ideal. It is an essential cornerstone for our spiritual defense in an increasingly turbulent world. The strength of our faith is most powerfully expressed through the network of relationships we nurture and the prayers we offer together. These bonds transcend mere personal connections. They are rooted in a common commitment to spiritual principles, which form the foundation for a resilient community. However, such a union is not automatic. It requires conscious effort. Regardless of our differences, whether they lie in wealth, ethnicity, or religious practices, we are called to rise above division and embrace one another as fellow believers. This unity is vital. It's what will sustain us through the trials ahead, as we come together not as strangers, but as a global fraternity, bound by love and faith. The Virgin Mary teaches us that this love is not simply an abstract concept or a fleeting emotion. It is a living, breathing force, one that actively transforms us and those around us. This divine love compels us to act, to live in ways that reflect our commitment to God's will and to the well-being of our fellow human beings. Each of our choices, every sacrifice we make for others, contributes to building a world that is not just compassionate, but capable of withstanding the struggles that lie ahead. It is this love, steady and unwavering, that will fuel our perseverance, our courage, and our hope as we prepare for the challenges of the future. The message is clear. Love is not passive, nor is it superficial. It is a powerful, enduring force that strengthens us and binds us together, preparing us to meet the coming trials with unwavering faith. The Virgin Mary assures us that, even in the darkest times, we are never truly alone. Her maternal love and intercession are ever present, offering both comfort and strength. Her presence is a reminder that, despite the somber prophecies of hardship, we are under divine protection and will emerge from these trials with the grace to carry on. This call to live a life governed by love also underscores the urgency of spiritual renewal. The Virgin Mary's message goes beyond religious rituals or simple acts of devotion. It calls us into a profound, deeply personal relationship with God. This relationship demands consistent prayer, introspection, and the daily alignment of our will with His. True personal conversion is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process, a continual return to the path of humility and service, where we actively set aside distractions and worldly desires in favor of our higher calling. In conclusion, the message from Medjugorje is one of deep preparation, both spiritually and physically, for the challenging times we are moving into. Already, signs are emerging of the events that will dramatically alter the course of history. The Virgin Mary calls us to reflect deeply on her message, to strengthen our faith, and to begin our preparation now. The prophecy of the 3 days of darkness serves as a stark reminder of the difficulties we will face, but also of the power of prayer, faith, and careful planning to overcome these challenges. She urges us to unite in prayer to live as one family and to trust in God's protection. The time to prepare is now. Together, we can face the future with hope, courage, and love, with the Virgin Mary walking beside us, guiding us along the way. Your participation in this journey holds great significance, and together, we can inspire one another to stay strong in faith and unity. May these shared moments of reflection offer strength and hope as we face what lies ahead.